just on low volume. Meeting underway at the White House this hour between President Obama and his French counterpart Nicholas Sarkozy. They are scheduled to speak any moment. We are going to take those comments shortly.
Now, it's likely the two leaders will take yet another swipe at Wall Street. Sarkozy saying in a speech at Columbia University yesterday that it is impossible to defend capitalism and free markets unless more rules are put into place.
But Tom Belesis says that Sarkozy is dead wrong. He is the CEO of the investment banking firm John Thomas Financial. We welcome him now. Good to see you.
Guys, great to see you guys.
Okay, so Sarkozy was a guy who actually ran on a pro-capitalism platform and made some very, very unpopular decisions with the typical French who were saying, you know, help me, and
Right.
he helped the big companies. Now he has turned on that and saying that really, unless we put more rules into place, these companies are still the bad guy. What's wrong with that?
I mean, unfortunately, Liz and Dave, this is just another case of scapegoating. You know, the real issue here, I mean, the real problem is this is a smoke screen to hide the real problem of overspending and fiscal irresponsibility that governments here and around the world refuse to face. I mean, governments have become so bloated that they fail to realize that they have caused their own problems, not Wall Street. I mean, this is like a normal routine. What's next?
They didn't buy credit default swaps. The governments didn't buy credit default swaps that unwound over at AIG.
Well, that's correct, but I can tell you only one thing. President Sarkozy, let's talk about him for a second. He ran on a platform to fix France's economy, which we all know for a very long time has been non-competitive and stagnant. He failed to improve that economy. His popularity has plunged like the Titanic. And now, who is he looking to blame?
By the way, he started out as the free market alternative.
Absolutely.
We should remember that. So he's kind of backed off on that, as a lot of people have. I would take issue on one point. Certainly, government spending is way in excess of where it should be. But on the other hand, the banks downtown and Wall Street have access to a credit line like they have never had before. That access is to the Federal Reserve. Isn't it at least time to maybe cut off the pipeline from the Wall Street institutions to the Fed?
You know, Dave, I do agree. There needs to be regulation. It has to be intelligent regulation. No, not one financial institution should have the power to bring down our entire financial system.
But that one point, just to say, look, you guys make risky bets. You're free to make all the risky bets you want, but not on the backs of taxpayers, not on the backs of the Federal Reserve.
You know, well, that's a great point. You know, I mean, Congress this year is going to pass a bill on financial regulation, which is bipartisan. Let me say that again, bipartisan, which Republicans do agree. So again, we do agree that regulation needs to be in place, but again, at the end of the day, why is Wall Street to blame for everything? I mean, someone gets hit by a car down a block. I mean, next week they're going to start saying, blame Wall Street.
Well, they're also blaming a lot of the mortgage companies who wrote liar loans. And then, of course, some of the onus has to lie on the people who signed these things. But going back to Sarkozy, this is a man who now says that he thinks the free market should go, but just not as free.
Right.
Where is the danger in dialing back and making sure that there is a sheriff who actually uses the gun on occasion?
I mean, again, regulation is very important, but we don't want to chokehold our financial system, or else how are we going to create jobs? I mean, that's the number one issue right now. I mean, unemployment is over 10%. We got to get that down. We got to get people back to work. I mean, Sarkozy and other countries have the nerve to tell us how to run our economy. I mean, that's like...
Well, there you go.
Well, that's like allowing the Boston Red Sox to run the New York Yankees. I mean, how many championships are we going to win then? I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, the way the Red Sox have been winning, I don't know. But listen, it's a great point, and I think that's what bothers Americans most, that the French president would tell us how to fix our problems.
Well, we tell the Chinese government to start floating their currency freely.
Yeah, but they're not doing it.
Right.
And we maybe shouldn't do what the French want us to do.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you,
Good
guys.
to see
Great
you,
to see
Tom.
you.
Nice to have you here.